What's going on, everybody? DcBlast here, and we are back. Yes, after so long. Woo! So this is going to be your first channel update in quite some time. What we're going to be talking about today is, first off, the Anchors Ahoy tour. You're going to be seeing my vlog, and then shortly thereafter, you guys will be able to see the Q&A that we had with both Fem and Gneisenau. Let's go ahead and throw it to myself in the past and get that vlog underway. Like, I actually don't know how to start off this vlog.
Generally introduce yourself.
Oh yeah, no, that's always a good thing.
Probably.
Alright, what's up, posers? DcBlast here. We're off to the Anchors Ahoy event, and I'm joined by my main man, Briggs, and we're about to have some fun. So this event's in Hamilton?
Yeah, Hamilton. Right at the docks there's a special dock area just for the museum ship, as well as a stone frigate, the HMCS Star. I think there's actually like a naval cadet.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know we had the stone one there too.
Oh yeah, there's the HMCS Star, and I think there's an actual naval cadet station there as well. Just like how down in Port Star, there's the HMCS Provost.
Yes.
Which is part of the larger stone frigate, which is in London, Windsor, I think. Don't quote me on that. I'm not part of the national defense.
I mean, I was, and I should know this, but you know.
You were Army, so
yeah, that's true. I was a land-loving, non-seafaring.
You built bridges with explosives.
Boom. Either way, we're gonna have some good fun. We're gonna get you guys some good video, and yeah, talk to you as things go. All right.
Welcome to the armpit of Ontario.
I got that on video.
Really?
Yeah.
Sorry, Hamilton. It's better than Windsor, who's the asshole of Ontario.
That's not much better.
Smells the same. Rent is cheaper.
No, it's not. Rent is worse in Hamilton.
No, that's what I'm talking about. Windsor being worse.
God.
Oh, that was my exit. Crap.
That was your infection.
That was the exit.
30.7. We'll be alright.
Yeah, then it's a Larry, not a Roger. Shit.
We're alright.
I'm a douche canoe.
It's alright.
Absolute shit.
So, we've missed our turn, but
because we were joking too much.
Because we were joking about how Hamilton's an armpit and Sarnia's an asshole.
No, Windsor. Sarnia's not much better for the record.
We're not doing well this morning.
Hey, it's better than Winnipeg. It's colder than Mars.
That's true. We went through puns.
Dad jokes.
Dad jokes. Knock jokes.
Yeah. I did a brief synopsis on some music history because I'm like that. And we've talked more.
What else? We've talked a little bit of warships.
Like subs.
Yeah. Oh, subs. Yes. Oh, I have so many questions for Fem. Oh, I can't wait.
Row your boat underneath the stream. Ha ha, fool ya, I'm a submarine.
Anyway, guys, we'll talk to you soon. Take it easy. So we finally made it here to the HAIDA. We are in the event. Yeah, she's right over there. And we're about to have some fun. I'm looking at that lineup. That's just
It's
not that bad.
It's expected.
It's actually not that bad.
It's
So,
a 2-day event though, so.
You mean
This
we're
is
here
day
for
one.
2 days?
I would be nice, but no. It's the same thing, but only tomorrow too as well.
Do we want to buy tickets and come back tomorrow?
I have an event.
More on that later. Well, let's go say hi to everybody. And meet people we most certainly did. It was such a fun time at the HAIDA Anchors Away tour that it was just amazing to see such a community come together under really such a short amount of time and just get to know each other, which really made things a whole lot better. And that brings us to this gentleman in the center. Insert Mike. We met him in the parking lot. We parked right behind him. He was off by himself. His car looked to be, you know, the best spot to kind of park behind. And he turns around and goes, oh, good. Now that I don't look like an idiot parking there, we can all be friends. And wouldn't you know, he actually stuck around for the entire event with us, sticking to it. It was a huge amount of fun having him around. And as you can see here, the ship itself was beautifully maintained. I don't know how much time and effort it takes to just make sure that this ship has the capabilities to rotate the guns, as you see, to do everything it needs to do just to make sure that it's still a historic piece to be proud of. The volunteers at the HAIDA work day in and day out to make sure it's a good place, and might I say, it really is just fantastic. Now, I got the opportunity to meet Fem only for a brief moment because she was just so busy trying to take care of the entire event. She was the one who was always looking at her watch, making sure that everything was on time, so I personally didn't get as much time as I truly wanted to speak with her. But this man, this absolute unit of an individual, actually took care of the front desk throughout the entire event, hardly participated in any of the fun stuff, and just made sure that the back scenes at the front were always taken care of. I didn't get the chance to meet this individual's to the point where I wanted to. I didn't get a chance to know his name. If you know his name, if you could tag him, get him the attention on this video. You, sir, are an excellent gentleman, and I appreciate all of your work, you unsung hero. And then insert this beautiful individual, Karmat1ka. Karmat1ka is actually a Twitch affiliate as of right now, normally playing horror games, I believe, but also works with Wargaming on World of Warships. I had an opportunity to pull her off to the side and just get to know her a little bit, which was fantastic and a blessing. Just to hear how she was so into the game and she was very passionate about the events that were going on. It made it such a delight to meet her and truly get to know what she was all about. And then we have this individual, Gneisenau. Gneisenau and I got to talk a lot, and even after he was done his corporate pitch of, you know, everything that he's supposed to say at one of these events, just getting to know him on a personal level made the game feel so much more real to me. To know that there are people like Gneisenau, like Karmat1ka, like Fem, working on the game, consistently developing it, makes me feel at ease. I understand that there are times that you just sit there and you question the devs on what they're thinking, but you know what? Getting to meet these individuals here tonight at this event, it was a real blessing and actually boosted my confidence in the team dramatically. But shortly thereafter, well, let's just say shenanigans ensued.
Second right, start to the right, and straight on till the morning.
Yep. Oh.
Well, next morning because it's still morning.
Yep. Full knots. Yep.
Full knot.
No, you good. Just fire to the. I don't know. Fire at the Yamato. I don't give a shit. No, don't fire the. Smoke! I am still personally missing a whole bunch of videos and photos that were taken by other people. If you have them, please message me either on my Twitch or on my YouTube and get a hold of me. I would really appreciate that. Thank you very much. So we just got done at the HAIDA tour. We had a blast.
Pun intended.
Pun intended. It was a lot of fun being able to meet IChase and Fem, as well as and actually just sit down. Gneisenau from the Wargaming staff. He was really cool to talk to. It was a lot of fun. It was a dummy amount of fun. So we're on our way back now, and I guess now I gotta just edit.
Yeah, that's your problem, not mine. I just gotta drive.
Yeah, that's fair. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you very much for coming on out with me on the HAIDA tour, and we will talk to you guys next time. Latest. And that was your blast from the past vlog of the Anchors Away tour aboard the HAIDA. Now, I did also capture, I'd say 95% of the Q&A segment that both Fem and Gneisenau held in the mess hall on the HAIDA. I'm going to include this as a separate segment of the video. Consider this the smooth transition into it because it didn't really fit with the vlog. One, it just was way too long, and two, some of the questions asked were we're moving on. With that being said, let's go ahead. Fem had this to say before we asked any questions.
Where you can actually, like, when you progress along your lines, you can earn research points, and you can turn those research points into, valuable prizes. Colbert. We envisioned that we're probably going to expand this a little bit in the future, depending on its reception. Reception so far, it seems to be pretty good or better than we expected. Things kind of appear to be doing pretty well. I myself have reset 2 of my lines, so I'm finding both the frustration and also the greatness of playing tier 3 and 4 again.
So with the Research Bureau, we understand that we made a really, really, really big mistake when it was named the NTC, and we don't need to go into that. We all know.
The
yeah,
what?
Yeah, exactly.
The what?
We blanked that word from our name. We understand that that was a bad move, and that's why we rescinded on it and we reworked it completely. Now, a lot of you guys have, or a lot of the sentiment I've been seeing is that, I've spent ages writing these ship lines. I've spent, my credits on these ship lines. Why would I give them up? Well, the fact of the matter is ultimately you don't have to. This system was designed for the kind of late game players who have grinded all the lines, who have grinded all the ships, and who don't really have content that they can engage with on a daily basis. Yes, you have ranked occasionally. Yes, you have clan battles occasionally. But if you're that player, which, think of our large streamers, me, Josh, IChase, myself even, the players who have, 10,000 games in, yes, they've got these kind of eventium through clan battles ranked or anything, but on the daily, I'm logging in the game, what am I going to do? Now we've kind of given them, or these players, and for the players in the future, if you continue with the game going forward, something else extra to do. Again, completely optional. If the reward isn't interesting to you, if you don't want to resell those ships, you don't have to. The ships that are going to be released as part of this, as with any ship we release as part of World of Warships, we do our darndest to make sure it is in a balanced state before it gets released. We have no interest in releasing OP ships or anything of that. Don't want to talk about small legs. Don't want to talk about small legs. Small legs is an outlier, and I don't have a strong opinion on it at the moment. So the thing about Colbert is while she's got high firepower, high DPM, high fire mechanics and whatnot, the fact of the matter is she can get Citadel and Death Struck very, very easily if you play her like a pleb. Now the thing is, you are going to see, because this system is designed for the endgame players, the players who have been in the game for a long time, hate to say it, but those players of course are going to be 9 times out of 10, there is the odd person who's not. Those players are going to be your highly skilled, highly engaged players who know the game and the mechanics very well. That's why we're probably going to see a lot of those stats being swayed for quite a big period while the ship adjusts. It was the exact same with the Stalingrad. When Stalingrad was released, Stalingrad OP, but as soon as she started becoming more available and more accessed, please don't interrupt me, more accessed with the general population and the players who were a little bit more average in skill level, we did see that her stats began to level out. I'm not saying Colbert is perfect, but it is too soon to judge in a global sense. She's only been out for a week. You know, she's probably only in the hands of a few really engaged players at this time. It's too early to state definitively whether she is in an unhealthy position. She is designed with weaknesses to counteract, you know, her high DPM and her high fire chance, but there is things that counter that. Now, of course, as I said, being in the hands of the high tier players with that experience, they know how to defend against these weaknesses. But again, it's too soon, it's only been out a week, and it's in the hands of the most engaged players. We need to kind of wait and see where it comes through. Just as an idea, guys, when ships get released, we usually wait 6 to 8 weeks to get a big enough pool of data from a big enough pool of players before assessing where she stands in terms of other ships, of her tier, of her nation, and premium versus tech tree to see whether something needs to change. If you get, you know, one ship in the hands of a really unicorn player and whatnot straight off the bat, and you see its stats go super high, do you judge on a really, really small data point? You're going to wait until you kind of see a more across the road. Small Lens, Sub Octavian has addressed that as part of his Q&A on Reddit recently, which I highly recommend you going into that, so I'd really like to avoid the Small Lens topic today, if that's okay. It's just one
Perfectly reasonable.
Sorry?
Perfectly reasonable.
Yeah, he's handled that one on Reddit, so I would highly recommend it. So those are kind of our 3 topics which we had a feeling would be asked about. So we're going to kind of open the floor to guys, for you guys to ask your questions. What I would like to state as a blanket: no, we cannot tell you what ship is coming out next. No, we cannot tell you when Special Ship X is coming out. No, we cannot tell you what ship X's currency will be. Those are the 3 things we can't tell you. We can't tell you what ship lines are in development, anything along those lines. What we can ask is, hey, have you considered, or let me get this one out of the way because I know you guys will ask, what about German battleships? Why haven't they been buffed? Things along those questions we can ask. The more specific you can be, the more detailed our answer can be. We would like to try and make sure that everyone has an opportunity to ask their question, so please think of your best question, because I'd like to try and keep it to 1 per person as much as possible to give people the opportunity for everyone to be involved. Does that sound good?
Yes.
So with that out of the way, first question. Any update on when IFHE is going to get a rework or adjusted?
Any timeline on the HAIDA rework? At the moment, no. I believe Sub kind of talked about it, that it was a very, 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 very long way off. So I don't have a timeline on that at the moment. Do you? No, nothing on that.
Is there any upcoming operations that are going to be including more tiers, maybe tier 10s, tier 9s, or anything like that?
So that's actually on my to-do list when we get back to Austin, is that I'm going to inquire about some of the operations, Cherry Blossom, that we all love and want to see come back. So so stay tuned on our portal and our forums for any of my updates. So.
On that, just following on, in case you didn't hear the question, there was a question regarding are more tiers going to be released into the various operations. Currently this year, our priority is on the PvP modes, as they are the most popular within the player base, while returning CVs into operations as standard and trying to get more of them released. There was one released in 8.6 or 8.5.
Yeah, Raptor Rescue came back.
Raptor Rescue came back. So that is our kind of MO with operations at the moment, is trying to return CVs into the other ones as much as possible to try and get the full catalog of operations back and playable before kind of expanding into any with more priority being placed on PvP.
Is there any upcoming operations that are going to be including more tiers, maybe tier 10s, tier 9s, or anything like that?
That's also on the overall status of scenario operations. So yeah, that's on my to-do list.
That was a question regarding historical operations coming
PvE
in.
operations. So.
Okay, next question. Yes.
Well, inside clan battles and on the subject of CVs, are we going to be seeing CVs allowed into clan battles?
At this point, nothing has been announced. We are at the end of season 6 of Clan Battles.
Yep.
Obviously, we're in a lot happier state with where we are with the rework. As part of an upcoming full ranked season, we are going to see CVs being back in as part of that. As a full sprint, as a full season, not just a sprint season, which will be the first time since the rework. So we're pretty excited for that. Kind of going from that, I think will be a better basis to decide what the CV status is in regards to finally becoming part of Clan Battles. But at this point, we don't have a definitive yes or no that will happen yet.
Public test 8.8 is going on right now. Also, it features ranked sprint, and then I think one of the sessions will be for tier 8, and one CV will be allowed per team.
So yeah, that will be our kind of testing grounds into a more competitive environment with CVs within them.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave my question unedited. You can hear me clearly, and it's my question. But the next question you can hear very well due to audio reasons. But the question being, how about the introduction of battle cruisers into World of Warships?
So a new class into the game. So I think this was actually addressed previously in the devlog that we didn't see the need to introduce a new class of ship into the game besides submarines. So the short answer is no, but of course, with Alaska, with Kronstadt and Yoshino, those are definitely bigger than your average size cruiser. So whether or not they're going to get introduced into the game, it's a possibility, but then we can't really foresee it. So.
Well, not necessarily alliance left.
Considering we've already done it with the American cruisers, we've seen kind of the split between the line ending in the Worcester and the line ending in the Des Moines. That is possible in the future. However, it's not currently announced as any plans kind of cemented at this point.
So even before the disclaimer that Fem gave us, we had about a 3.5 minute discussion about how we weren't going to talk about this limit. We weren't going to do it. We're not. You know what? If you wanted to know more, there are already previous posts by previous devs that were in that would have everything to say about the Slimmings. What you're about to witness is one of those times where I wanted to step in and say, this is a dead question, can we move on? We're running out of time and I needed more content. However, I respect this person's question because it's the Slimmings. It needs to be brought.
So I'm going to do this sweep, and then we'll go for a backward sweep, okay? Yes.
I have a very tough question for you guys.
Okay.
I know Smolensk and Koper has been introduced to the game, and
Yes.
it is fun from the perspective that you are inside that ship, shooting at targets.
Yes.
But is it fun for the people that are receiving this kind of treatment? On the receiving end?
I can answer that question.
Real quick, let me recap it for anyone who on this side of the room who didn't hear. The question was regarding Smolensk and Colbert, where it's fun to play it. Is it fun to play against?
So, is it fun to play against? At first, probably not, because you're firing, because you're going to be engaged by Smolensk at a distance. However, with anything with team play, it's not just about you. It's depending on your destroyers to get a good line of sight on that target, and then having your supporting cruisers then trying to suppress it. Because the Smolensk, can it take very many hits? No, it can't take very many hits.
And that is where that conversation should have. The Slimmings is a very powerful ship in its current iteration. However, the proper counterplay is available. It's called team play. If you're going to play into its strengths, yeah, you're going to get run into the ground, but you play to its weaknesses, and congratulations, you defeated it. Gneisenau did a fantastic job reiterating team game. This is a team game. Anyway, the next question. I'm trying to recommend this game to some of my friends and as new players. Is there any implementation or anything that we can do to help protect our new players who are joining? Otherwise, they're just going to get demolished by everyone who's going out and seal clubbing. It's taking a 19-point captain, putting it on a low ship, and then playing low ships. Is there any way to protect against that?
To their opponents.
So with recent win-back campaigns, with our recruiting station, and then we recently did like a temporary thing with Amazon that was only available for our U.S. players. That this is going to be this has always been a thing where higher tier players are actually going into the lower tiers just to do whatever kind of regrinding and stuff. So we're still loving. So the short answer is that we do not have any plans for for matchmaking based on player on player stats.
I think you already have player level system. The level system now is 100, 200 better, and you reach level 12 or something.
It's something that we could
implement some kind of protective measure.
Could I actually add to that?
For them in the 1,000 before 1,000 battle, they won't reach the top, so they can just have a little bit protection because it's not fun to play kamikaze level 5.
The counterpoint to that though is what about people that reroll? How would you filter that out?
Well, the people reroll, you can place them in the normal matchup because this is just a protected matchup for the new players, the new guys.
But your experience is going to be the same, where you now have somebody that really knows how to play cure off, and then they're just sailing around farming, right?
So
if they start a new account, it's less chance.
So I definitely understand where you're coming from, particularly with your regards to your concern that particularly with research, we're kind of encouraging experienced players to try the lower tiers again of your friends and your players getting seal club. There's seal clubbing is always going to exist in every game and no matter what capacity. How to protect a newer incoming player is actually a really tricky subject, and there's really not a good answer because any system you can implement, whether it be your suggested system of if you have under 1,000 games, you're only going to play with players under 1,000 games, for example, because as Mr. Gneisenau said, is that players will reroll and then they'll still be put in that bracket and they'll still have that bad player experience. The other thing we see is that when people start joining the game, if they don't like the game, you see a pretty quick cutoff of players dropping off after if they've tried the game, they're like, this isn't for me for whatever reason. So one thing you have to consider is if by limiting that, you're creating a subset of players who are going to most likely experience longer queue times because of restricted player amounts within that bracket, just due to fall off and whatnot and turnover of players. The other thing you're going to find is when they do eventually break that 1,000 ping gap, is that they might not have the skills because they haven't seen this high level of game to be able to manage in that high skill environment for players who have, further thousands. And then do we just have to keep introducing caps so you always play with people within 1,000 games of you? That's going to create a nightmare for matchmaking furthermore. So while, definitely protecting the incoming players and giving them that opportunity to learn is important to us, there isn't a solid, good solution which would kind of fix this issue for a long time. Honestly, as part of a new player, when I started back in 2015, the quickest way I learned about, hey, don't sit broadside was getting blapped by that good player. I still haven't necessarily learned that lesson even nowadays, but it happens to the best of us, right? But in terms of, we definitely want our new players to have a good experience as part of the game and coming into it, but finding that kind of perfect scenario to keep them protected while giving them the opportunity to learn. Beyond co-op, which is, a good learning environment, you can disagree. I think between when I started playing and I played co-op to nowadays, co-op has improved. There isn't just like a really good, oh, this will fix everything solution, but it is something we're aware of and we're looking into, but at the moment there isn't, hey, we're gonna do this. This is our plan at the moment that we can say definitively. Yes, sir.
Some of the best ways to help new players get good at a video game, it doesn't matter what video game it is teaching them the basics. And something that I felt wasn't emphasized was not only is there an obligation on the devs to protect new players, but there's also an onus on the new players to learn the game. Luckily, one of the things that didn't get mentioned was there's actually videos that teach you how to play the game. What is armor penetration? How do fires work? What is a torpedo? All these things do exist already, not to mention have Unity content creators consistently showing you view guides on different ships, you know, criticizing what is currently in play. Yeah, are they going to cover everything? No. No, they're not. But at the same time, this is an onus on the new player to, if they're wanting to get into the game, show a little bit of initiative. I know that's kind of harsh to say, but these new videos exist for a reason. In a game like this, you can only do so much to explain what's going on, and honestly, like the player videos that Wargaming released, it covers the dock, the armory, main armaments, aiming, penetration. Like, it really does cover everything. So half of it is getting to know the game, arming yourself with the proper knowledge, and then after you arm... Oh, that was an unfortunate drop. But with that being said, if you're a new player playing with somebody, ask them, pick their brain, or go online, find some new stuff. I know that's a semi bad answer, but in addition to what Gneisenau and Fem have all said. Next question, is the game ever going to become more realistic? There was talk about hitting an island, doing damage to us a little bit more, and then there was a little bit more about hitting an allied ship and doing what was said.
So, islands. Yes and no. So the thing is, if a ship typically hit an island in real life, they'd pierce their hull and probably go down. So while we do look at a lot of real life mechanics and take influence from a lot of real life mechanics from the game, at certain points, we have to kind of say, this would make the game unfun, this would make the game unpractical, and this kind of would ruin the arcadey style of the game. Because at the same time, if real life would...
We're not saying sink the ship.
Okay.
Just give it some damage. Something.
You guys want to get damage for beaching?
No!
Okay, guys. Honestly, like, I really like Nostra as a CC, and I don't want him to quit over consistently beaching.
Right?
No,
Wait, reverse.
I mean, it's something we could introduce, but at kind of what point? What would be the purpose behind it beyond kind of imitating reality?
So this is then when a beautiful question comes in between captain skills, radar, and one other instrument. Secondaries. There is subs incoming. What changes are we going to expect with the implementation of subs and basically reworking the inner parts of the game?
That's a good question.
Well, with captain skills, like, so that's probably going, when subs do make it in the game, that's probably going to be something that's definitely going to change. Because one thing I look.
So, tell me, how does Wargaming actually do adjustments, buffs, and is it purely based off of
the location of empirical data? Is it community outcry and absolute rage fitting? Or is there a happy medium process?
Cool. So in terms of development, things like ship lines and like what ship is coming next, what premium are we planning and developing, that is done more St. Petersburg side of the development team based on what blueprints they have accessible to, kind of what the current offering in ships are. Like if we see that we've got 9 American battleships, for example, all premiums, and we don't have one in Japan, we're probably going to focus on a Japanese one next, sort of thing. But a lot of those sorts of things do come from directly Russia in terms of we have a need for this within our offering. Sometimes it's based around, hey, we have a plan for a German themed event, we need a German ship to coincide with it, such as, Gamescom, for example, things along those lines. So some things are tied to, in terms of events that are happening in-game, in person, or even kind of what is available for them. So for a big example of that is you guys asked for Italian cruisers for, what, like 3 years? 2 years? A very, very long time. And we were working on them. However, getting blueprints from the Italian Navy did come into some roadblocks just based with how they are. And although you guys were like, well, why are you releasing this line? We really want this line. It's kind of a case of we couldn't make progress on this, and we couldn't be at a standstill waiting for progress to be made on this, so we needed to keep working on other content in the meantime while we worked on the blockers for that. So yes, we did listen to player sentiment, hey, we want Italian cruisers, but we had that blocker that we couldn't move past to get it done. In terms of changes to items within the game, it is honestly a big combination of both. We don't do it off player sentiment alone, and we don't do it off empirical data alone. Majority of the time there is outliers on that case. So when we see a lot of the issues that you guys feel in game is what prompts us to look into things. So for example, some of the tier 10 destroyers that recently received, tech tree destroyers that recently received buffs and nerfs. We saw feedback from the community, forums, Reddit, social media. We look at it all day. That is what community staff's jobs pretty much is. I'm always on the forums, I'm always on Reddit, I'm always on social media. I don't always reply, but I'm always looking. My day consists of essentially writing reports of what you guys are saying one way or another. We look at that data, and if we see like an overwhelming amount kind of regenerating and restating the same sort of information, that's when we pull that data together and we give it to the developers saying, hey, we've got really negative sentiment on X. Can you please investigate this? But us saying, hey, there's really negative sentiment on X isn't enough for them to go, there's a problem with X. They then go look at their data sets, whether it be how's it performing, win rate, popularity, number of games played, a load of different data sets in comparison to other ships, in comparison to what are the skill of the player that is playing those ships in comparison to other ships to see whether it's OP or not. A good case was like the Daring, for example. A lot of people felt like the Daring was overperforming. When we looked at the data as a whole, we saw that it did have a peak in its win rate in comparison to other destroyers. However, we also looked at further subsets of that data, such as, what are the skill levels of the players playing that ship? And we saw that they were, generally speaking, a lot higher than the other ship types. So then that skilled player crossed with that higher win rate made sense. Looking at some of the other data sets, which I don't have the details and I can't share it for you, sorry, NDA, it made sense that honestly the Daring was in a fine position in terms of balance. Its win rate was attributed to the fact that more skilled players are playing it. Thus, it didn't need too much adjustment or too much change. In another case, we saw that, hey, we're seeing negative sentiment on this ship. We looked at the data and we saw the data does reflect that there is issues with this ship. It's got low playing, its win rate is down, yada yada. And then that was when changes were made to try and bring that ship back in line. There's always going to be a ship that's at the bottom. That's how it is, but within an acceptable range of the other ships. And that's when the changes were made to those ships. So regarding changes in development, changes is usually, it gets triggered by community sentiment coming back, majority of the time, and then development researches into why that community sentiment is there and decides whether a change needs to be made one way or another. So that's kind of how the process works on a short thing. So be nice to your community staff because we take your feedback and send it higher. Okay? Okay.
So that was actually pretty much the end of the Q&A. There was a couple odd questions like, why is manual control over secondaries a thing? How come I can't control them on both sides, so have one set going this way, one set going that way? That was kind of all answered for balancing purposes and stuff like that. There was one particular question that caught me off guard, and that was, is there any plans to rework detonations, or could we just please remove them? To which, this was the answer we got.
No, because they're fun and engaging.
And like I said, that basically was the Q&A. There was a couple other things like, are we going to be adding in the old carriers from the old tech trees, stuff like that, to which it was a lot of vague answers that really weren't time answers. But all in all, it was a lot of fun. This event all was fantastic from start to finish. Not only did we get these swag shirts, we got bag stickers, a whole bunch of ship codes. I know I personally got like what? Well, of course, the HAIDA, and then addition, I actually was able to get myself the Azuma. So yeah, all in all, it was a fantastic event. I had so much fun. But with that aside, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. I'm happy to say we are, in fact, back. Streams will be coming up once again. We look forward to seeing everyone on there. Scheduling as to the streams will, in fact, be altered, and I will definitely get you those as soon as I get a full schedule from my work on what's going on. But we're back. God, that feels... Oh, that feels so good. So glad. So I want to thank everyone for sticking through with me. It has been a little bit of a hard time, but we made it. Be on the open seas. Catch you next time.